Hi guys, I was just watching that demographic winter video that's been making its rounds on YouTube. I think Stardust alerted me to the video, and I have got to say, the mainstream's absolute blindness to the reason why men aren't getting married is just crazy. I'm thinking that they must know on some level, but they're probably just afraid to say anything about it, to point out the fact that women uh, initiate over 70% of divorces. Hello. And if they actually started saying that, probably a bunch of feminist groups would start having shit fits. So, so basically, they're just ignoring the problem, and the result is the problem will not be fixed. so, so don't be expecting this civilization to start reacting intelligently to this crisis. And look at Japan. I mean, with like way over 50% of men who are grass eaters, and they still, I mean, they bitch about it. Their media bitches about it, but they don't address the problem. So what do we have to expect? We have we have a declining economic engine. You look at Japan's economy, you know how it's become so stagnant, and it's gonna be happening everywhere else, every other first world country. And as the that video was saying, a lot of the the more energetic males of the third world are coming here, and into the first world, and they're working. I saw a bunch of them at Home Depot the other day. If I wasn't concerned that they'd come back later to break into my house, I might have hired a few of them to get some of these tasks done that I've been wanting to do. But no, I just don't trust them. But anyway, I mean, I'm not going to let anybody scout my house, please. So, what's the solution? I mean, what can we do? What can we do to prepare for a really, really stagnant economy, and the fact that the baby boomers are beginning to retire, and that's going to be sucking money out of the economy, and that's going to be basically just the whole thing is just going to be coming down. And the feds will, of course, print money out of nothing to shore up the stock market. But the only thing that's going to do is devalue the currency, and then we might have not necessarily hyperinflation, but serious inflation. And either way, the prosperity of the country is going to be going down. So what can we do? What can we do as men going our own way, especially? Because if we get in trouble, we are like disposable appliances that society is perfectly happy, and they're perfectly happy to let us be homeless, and very few homeless shelters for men. When I do donate to charities, I donate to a place which actually they call it the Millionaire Club, which is really silly, but they basically help homeless men find some work and make ends meet, and they serve meals and stuff. And I was thinking, man, if I ever needed serious help, where could I go? And there are very few places, and that's one of them, I guess. I wouldn't want to do it, but that's something where you can benefit if you have a penis. So, what could you do? What would my strategy? I guess I could just tell you my strategy, and that is to get some land, get even any kind of yard, any kind of house, and then just bust your ass. Get a roommate, bust your ass to get it paid off, because the best place to be, if you are in a declining economy, or if you're retired, or pretty much the best place to be, period, is to have your own place and pay it off. Now you could get on the property ladder like I did and buy a condo first and just pay extra every single month, and condos are getting pretty cheap these days. Most anybody who's paying rent could buy a condo and end up probably paying less every month. Just put the extra into that mortgage and pay it to zero, turn around and buy a house, and then basically just put your extra efforts in the money that you would normally invest in the stock market to have it stolen. You could then use it to invest in the property, put in infrastructure that will provide value to you over the years, such as solar panels. I mean, if you've got a good solar array going, and it's selling power back to the grid, that is money that will pay for 30, 40 years with just minimal upkeep, and it will pay every month because it will provide you with electricity that you don't have to pay for. And your Social Security it's going to be tight. And if anything that you can produce on your own property, outside of the economic system, outside of the tax system, off the grid, anything that you can produce for yourself without involving currency, that is pure profit. And anything that you produce for yourself is one less thing that you don't have to buy. And of course, I'm doing things like collecting my waste streams. I think if you guys are familiar with my other channel, you will have seen the fancy insulated composter that I built. I bought this, and it's highly insulated, and it's already hot in there. And the heat is just coming off of this thing. And basically it runs up to about 160 degrees, and the composting process takes like 2 or 3 weeks. But anyway, then you spin it like so, and that tumbles it. You just do that every day, and then within about 3 weeks you've got finished compost. Coolest thing about it is you can actually, I'm going to build a little ramp, but there's room to get the wheelbarrow underneath there, and then once the compost is ready, just open the door, flip it around, boom, right into the wheelbarrow, roll it right out to the garden, shovel it in. Good times. Got a little potato bed right here. I have heavily mulched with sawdust, and my goal is to be able to grow potatoes here and not water at once. There's a lot of underground water, but the Seattle area turns almost like a desert during the summer months. Sometimes 2 months can go by without rain, and the temperatures are like 80, which is a lot for here. But anyway, if it's in contact with the ground and it's heavily mulched, the moisture will wick up out of the ground, and all that water that's been sequestered over the winter will provide all the water these things need. And then you got hugelkultur beds right there, and of course fruit trees. All of that stuff will produce food and to some extent energy for, when you cut the wood and then you can burn it in the fireplace, that's energy. But anyway, everything that you can produce for yourself outside of the tax system, outside of the economic system, that's something that you're not dependent on the economy for. We've got peas coming up. And this is ready to cut for a salad. I think I'll have a salad tomorrow. Got more over here, more over there. Good times. So that's my advice. Anything you can do to produce for yourself outside of the economic system, that's going to be your insurance, and that's really going to help you when it comes time to retire. And I'm setting the place up so that it will take very little energy or very little physical effort to maintain the place and bring in the harvests and whatnot. And so I'll be able to do this way up until I'm like seriously old. But I'm doing the grunt work right now. So, I mean, it's the whole decreasing population thing, and the aging, graying population is a real problem, and it's really going to hit hard on people who are dependent on the economy. And the more dependent on the economy you are, the more vulnerable you are, and it's just really important to get other systems functioning for you, so that if one drops out and fails you, you've got the other one going. And of course, being free of all mortgage debt, free of all credit card, car payments, all of that stuff, that will allow you to focus your full economic power on stability. And when other people are doing that whole grapes of wrath, wandering around in their cars and living in their cars and whatnot, if you manage your life correctly, and if you're debt free, you've got production going, you are going to be vastly better off. I can't recommend that highly enough. Remember, there are man-sized holes in the social safety net, just your size. And if the moment you suddenly need help and you're in a serious jam and you're about to get evicted from your apartment or whatever, there is nobody there to help you. So you've got to depend on yourself. You've got to build stability into your life, and of course preparedness. You don't have to be a crazy survivalist, but a certain amount of preparedness is really important for a guy. Savings, no debt, extra food on the shelf. If you're in a situation where you suddenly lose your job, if you've got food stacked up in your pantry, you're going to be more financially resilient because you've got all of this ready, and you can just rely on the pantry, start drawing on that, and then decrease your expenses to the absolute minimum, and then focus completely on job hunting. And if you have the resilience, the stability in your life, the preps, as we survivalists call it, if you've got preparedness in your life, and you know darn well that you're not going to be starving, or you're not going to be homeless for like 6 months, even if you lost all your income, that changes your whole attitude. And it makes you more relaxed, more focused, more together, less scatterbrained, and that in itself could prevent you from losing your job in the first place. So, preparedness, build stability into your life, build an infrastructure, turn your home into a homestead that produces food and energy for you, and you will be vastly better off. And everybody says, well, where's all that going to go when you die? Who cares? You're building it for yourself. But in my case, my sister has a son, and right now he's a whiny little bitch, but he might amount to something someday, and if he does, I'll just leave all of this to him. Okay, well, guess I better upload this later.